Hello everyone, Jonathan Pulley here with West Coast Weather. Today is November 21st, and we're looking at the visible satellite imagery right now. You can see our powerful bomb cyclone that was off the coast a couple of days ago is continuing to spin off, but is now heading westward as it spins around this deep trough of low pressure that's over the eastern Pacific right now. This thing brought a really strong windstorm to parts of the Puget Sound and parts of Vancouver Island up there in BC. There was over 500,000 people out of power, which is a very intense amount of power outages for this part of the world, and that was a very intense event. Unfortunately, the worst models did happen to be correct, and we did get some gusts over 70 miles per hour for parts of the eastern Puget Sound, which is very damaging for the Pacific Northwest, especially with our 100-foot tall fir trees and stuff. So there was tons of power outages and trees down. Unfortunately, a couple people lost their lives as well. So my heart goes out to the families of those people and all those that were affected. But anyways, we have another storm system developing right down here, just to the south of our dying bomb cyclone. This one's going to actually strengthen almost at the speed of a bomb cyclone, but it looks to stop just a couple millibars short. But this is going to be another very intense storm. It's going to drop down to about 980 to maybe 978 millibars, which is still very intense. Nothing compared to this other storm, but it's also going to be a little closer to the shore. So there's still going to be some impacts, but it does not look to be as bad. Then we look to continue getting some rain over through the weekend before we look to enter a drier pattern. So without further ado, let's start getting into the model runs right now. Here's the European model. This is fresh off the press from this morning. We can see this is current right now. You can see our cyclone slowly weakening up there towards Haida with the pressure around 976 millibars earlier this morning. That will spin around, and then watch this other cyclone start rapidly intensifying, not as fast as the other one, but still pretty significant for this area. And it's going to be a bit closer. You can see it right about 979 millibars on that, but you can see there's not a ton of high pressure to our east. So we're not going to get that same really tight pressure rating over the Cascades that generated those really strong mountain waves and easterly winds over like a Bellevue and Enumclaw and Issaquah areas, and even Lake Stevens as well. So not expecting anything major with this. The coast could get some high winds, but most of the models keep it this far out over the coastline, but a couple other models get kind of dangerously close to the area, which I'll show you here in a moment. But look at this little low pressure that starts spinning back around. This is actually our bomb cyclone from the last couple of days, and it actually starts spinning all the way back around before coming up the coastline, but much weaker and likely just to bring some rain, maybe some gusty winds to parts of the coastline later this weekend. But just interesting, we're getting a Fujiwara effect, which is basically when two low pressure systems are close enough together where they start affecting each other and start spinning around each other. And that's what happens. And as we continue on through early next week, you can see both the low pressures finally emerge and die off the coast before high pressure builds in. Now looking at 6-hour precipitation type in inches, blue is snow, green is rain. Look at this powerful atmospheric river that continues to just hammer the southwest Oregon coastline and also Northern California with many inches of rainfall. Also a lot of heavy snow in the higher terrain of the Sierra Nevada. Look, as the coast dies off, this low pressure system moves off the coastline right there, brings some rain and chance for some thunderstorms and maybe some water spout potential. We actually did get a water spout just off the shore of just south of Westport, Washington yesterday, and there was footage of that. It looks like it weakened before it made inland, but there was a rare tornado warning for the Washington coast. It happens usually every couple of years, but most of the time they don't actually generate any tornadoes or water spouts, but this one did. Then watch our dying bomb cyclone continue to spin around this low before coming into the Pacific Northwest later on Monday, but generally not going to be really that impactful. Then our low weekends bring some more rain to California before high pressure builds in, and we get some dry weather next week. Now looking at 10-meter wind gusts in miles per hour, you can see our next storm developing on the coastline with hurricane force wind gusts over 75 miles per hour right along the low. You can see though, generally the coast is only getting some gusts, maybe 50-55 miles per hour, maybe some gusts towards 40 miles per hour for Whidbey Island, the San Juans, and up towards the Strait of Georgia as well. but not looking like anything major, especially for the Seattle area and those areas towards the east. There might be some easterly wind gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. This model that doesn't show this, but might bring some harder recovery efforts to parts of the Enum-Claw area and those parts of the eastern Puget Sound. So hopefully it's not too disruptive over tomorrow. Now looking at a closer look at things, this is the HRRR model, and let me go back to the previous run. This gives us a closer look at things, but look at this. It brings the low pressure a bit stronger wind-wise and also a lot closer to the coastline. Look at this. It brings this steam jet or backbent occlusion, which is basically the backside or the strongest part of the storm system. And it brings some hurricane force wind gusts towards the La Push area and just north of Ocean Shores. Brings some wind gusts 50, maybe even 60 miles per hour for the Whidbey Island, San Juan areas, and up towards the Strait of Georgia. That would be pretty significant for a couple localized areas. Thankfully, the really wind hit areas of the East Puget Sound mostly are unaffected by this, other than some breezy winds that maybe will blow around a couple branches. But the HRRR is like the only one really showing it getting this close, which is why I'm really suspicious of this happening. But strong, the gusty, the potentially localized strong winds will continue all the way through Saturday morning. I don't think this is going to happen, but I just want to show this to show the potential for this storm to come in a little closer than what other models are showing. Now looking at the NAM3 cam, it's kind of, look at how the Oregon coast is getting some wind gusts up towards 80 miles per hour up there over towards Cape Blanco. That's kind of typical for out there, but maybe some localized power outages down there. You can see the NAM actually brings some 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts to the Willamette Valley, which would be pretty significant, but the NAM tends to really overdo these wind speeds over the Willamette Valley, so I'm not really expecting those gusts. But look at also, it's bringing some gusts towards 40, 50 miles per hour to the Enum-Claw area and even towards the Lake Stevens, just east of Lake Stevens. So hopefully the gusts like this don't get that strong over Friday morning, because that would maybe blow around some more trees where there's already a lot of power outages and stuff that the DOT is still working to fix out there. But watch, the NAM also brings that low a little closer, keeping those 70 mile per hour wind gusts just off the shore. So it's not as close as the HRRR, but still brings some gusts towards 50 miles per hour for the San Juans and Whidbey Island areas, with some gusts up towards 60, maybe 65 miles per hour on the coastline. More of a typical November storm than what the HRRR is showing. Now looking at the composite reflectivity, or what the HRRR model thinks the radar is going to look like. You can see as this low pressure system spins off the coastline tomorrow morning. Look how it brings some of these showers and thunderstorms. It even brings a nice one right off of Whidbey Island right there. That would be kind of an unusual spot for one, so I'm not sure if that will actually happen, but there is a slight chance of thunderstorms, but mainly for the coastline over the next couple of days. I'll show you here in a second that there is potential for some more water spouts as well with these thunderstorms, and these will continue all the way into Saturday and for the Oregon coast as well. So keep an eye on the dark skies over on Friday and Saturday. Now, this is looking at the significant tornado parameter, or basically it shows where conditions are most favorable for tornado potential. As we go through later on Friday, look at these colors light up along the coastline. This strong storm system is going to start generating some conditions that are favorable for some, maybe a weak tornado or water spout or funnel cloud out there. Even for parts of Western Washington as well, though I'm not really expecting it very much inland as well. But just keep an eye out if you're on the coastline tomorrow and Saturday. Now looking at the total precipitation in inches, if I play this out over the next couple of days for all of the storm systems through early next week, look at this additional maybe 6 to 10 inches of rainfall for parts of the northern Sierra Nevada mountain range of California. After all the snow and rain they've already gotten the past couple of days, this definitely could lead to some isolated significant flooding situation out there. Even for the Southwest Oregon coastline as well, definitely some landslide potential out there. So it's just stay attention, especially if you're near any rivers or landslide prone areas down there. A couple inches of rainfall potentially for some of the coastal areas in the mountains of Washington and Oregon as well in Southwest British Columbia. Now looking at total snow in inches, this is kind of a secondary threat, but just wanted to show this here over the next couple of days. Definitely could get multiple feet of snow in the Sierra Nevadas, maybe a foot or two in the parts of the Cascades. The passes may get some snow as well. So just keep an eye out on the WSDOT's website to see if there's any impactful snow accumulation up there on the passes over the next couple of days if you're going over there. Now looking at the extended forecast real quick. This is looking at the European model on the left and the GFS model on the right. You can see our storm system right now off the BC, Washington, Oregon, California coastlines. Alaska's over here. Watch as that second storm system spins off the coastline and kind of just meanders over there all the way through Monday before dying off the coastline and moving into California. But look at this. As we go through next week, this is going towards Wednesday and the Friday of next week. Both models are showing to show a very significant ridge developing. This is still over 7 days out, so I'm still, these things could change, but this would be a nice break in the weather for everybody that is not looking for any more active weather for at least a few days. But you can see that this ridge may hang out for a half a week or so, even longer than that. So I'm going to be watching that for potential for some drier weather. This time of the year, these ridges of high pressure don't really bring very warm temperatures, but generally it clears out the skies though, so you get sunny, chilly days out there with maybe some first frost for some of the areas. Now looking at this nice graphic from the National Weather Service of Seattle, Washington, gusty winds on Friday, 2 rounds of wind, east winds in the Cascade foothills and the east side suburbs of Seattle early Friday morning. Generally, maybe some gusts up towards 40 miles per hour for some of those areas east of Everett and Seattle. Some gusty winds on the coastline. This is about from 4 p.m. later this evening through Friday morning. Then the bigger round of wind gusts, round number 2, southerly winds along the Pacific coast, straight along Fuca, Admiralty Inlet, northward, and much of the interior from late Friday morning into the evening. This is showing the potential for some gusts 40 to 60 miles per hour along the coastline. Also some gusts towards 40 to 50 miles per hour for the Island County area, San Juan County, maybe the Bellingham area as well. Generally, the Seattle area looks to stay below 30 miles per hour. Also a nice graph from the National Weather Service Spokane showing a wet Friday. Expected tomorrow, light to moderate rain, heavy high snow levels, rain/snow, Metho Valley, ponding of water in fields and areas of poor drainage, rock slides, and steep terrain. So keep an eye out there if you're in eastern Washington or western Idaho out there. Round 2 of strong winds for parts of the Oregon and northern California as well, where some gusts up to 65 miles per hour, potentially even up towards 80 miles per hour in Cape Blanco out there. So some definitely some big waves out there, rip currents, and just keep an eye out on the waves if you're going to be going out there on the Oregon coastline. And there's going to be some gusty winds out in the east side of Oregon as well through Friday. For down trees, power lines could result in power outage. Travel will be difficult, especially for high profile vehicles. Here's a graphic from the National Weather Service of Sacramento, California, showing the moderate to heavy rain over the northern California. There's a rare high risk of excessive rainfall, showing rises on small creeks and streams, slick travel conditions, ponds on water and roadways. Definitely going to be some landslide potential as well. So just keep an eye out over the next couple of days for that threat over there in northern California and southwest Oregon. Now look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, generally below average through the end of November and around Thanksgiving as well for the western United States. As those ridges of high pressure generally keep some drier, cooler conditions over the area. Precipitation looks below average as well, which is to be expected from the models that we are seeing. 8 to 14 day, this is getting a little too far out, but potential for below average temperatures does continue with maybe below normal to about normal precipitation for this time of the year. So I'll keep an eye on the forecast over the next couple of days. So I hope everybody's having a great day. Take care, God bless, and I'll talk to everybody in the next forecast video.